Hi everyone, it's Cherry Enchantress. I know I haven't talked to you in a long while. Well, I've had a busy weekend. It was a very fun weekend of singing, German stuff, and then my brother's in town and we're gonna go out tonight just to eat and hang out and stuff. But I had this little bit of time here, and in the mail came my cards, and I'm so excited to show you guys. Okay, this is the tarot deck that I made with the company makeplayingcards.com, MPC. And so I made this box. Well, they made the box, but I made the cover. There's my name, see? And I picked out the font and stuff. There was a font that I wanted to use instead, but it said that it had some kind of copyright to it, so I couldn't use it. But there you go. That's my box. Now, before I open it, because I'm going to unveil it with you, I want to show you this real quick so you kind of get an idea. Okay, so this was a PDF file that, I printed this out just so I could look at it, but it's a PDF file that goes to, wherever on your computer, and then you have to upload it in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and then you fill in the spaces with the images that you want. And, I should print out my page. Hold on, let's see if I can do that real fast. Okay, so I printed this out. So there you go. This is the layout, and that's how, I guess I could have gone a little lighter. I don't know, I was picking up on the colors of the forest or whatever. And I just sort of followed like what a lot of tarot decks have, sort of an explanation on the back. So there you go, that's my design. So I'll read you the explanation. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, so there's my cover. And there's the side. It's called Enchanted Romance Tarot. I think I already showed it to you, but anyway, I'll show it to you again. There's my little logo, which is my tattoo. And there again. And then on the back, this is what I wrote. I said, the Enchanted Romance Tarot deck is a beautifully inspiring deck compiled of exquisitely enchanting classical artwork from pre-raphaelite masters such as Sir Frederick Leighton, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, John William Waterhouse, and others. And Waterhouse, he's just one of my favorites. I just adore him. And then each artwork was carefully chosen to reflect the mood and meaning of every individual tarot card using the traditional symbology of the Rider-Waite deck, because I didn't want to veer too much. I wanted to keep kind of like the similar meaning but using imagery that would help get in the mood of the meaning behind each card. The luscious, rich tone, vibrant settings, and evocative characters set the mood and tells the romantic story of love lost, love found, and love everlasting. So I'm a romantic at heart, if you couldn't tell. And so, yeah, so I do plan on selling this, but I'm not. This deck in particular is just going to be my, this is sort of exclusive, this is one in particular will be just for me. And then I will modify it and I will sell it. So you can get this. And look, it's just a nice little box. I love this box. There you go. And I had them do sort of a foil type, which is a little extra, but I think it's going to be worth it. And and I made the backing too. I designed the backing myself with just floral prints and coloring and trying out different things. And I think, though, I might go a little bit more purple, a little bit lighter, because it's kind of dark. But I thought the mauve would look pretty, and it does. I did have a choice of a more purple, brighter version, and I chose the darker one instead, but nevertheless, I think it's pretty. So I'm going to open this and let's take a look. I'm so excited. This is my first time to look at them too. Okay, it feels really good. And I picked They have, the makeplayingcards.com has like different finishes that you can use. This one is pretty nice and smooth. All right, so let me just take them in chunks. Okay, so I did use makeplayingcards.com for my other deck, my Oracle deck, and so what I learned from that deck, making that one, was to make sure I used a nice bright color for that and keep it even. And there's a bleeding thing going on, and I wanted the image to go all the way to the edge, but I didn't want anything cut off, so I decided to go ahead and make a frame, and that way I would know for sure that all the image I wanted to see would be seen. So that was my executive decision on this case. With this deck, I just wanted to make sure you could see the whole image. So here we have the Fool, and I chose this because, she's kind of walking barefoot, and to me, it's the leap of faith card. It's the going ahead on with what you want to do, despite the odds or whatever, kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm not going to explain why I picked the images for each one right now, but because I really want to just look at them. Okay, so here's the Fool. Some of these I had to add things. So the Magician I decided it needed an infinity symbol. High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant. I could have used a lot of different images for this, but this sort of teaching type feeling sentiment here just really appealed to me, and it kind of reminded me of my dad, and this kind of reminds me of my son Sammy before my dad passed away. They kind of had that relationship, so I just thought that was nice. The Lovers, this is one of my favorite images of all time anyway. So, and the Chariot, you can see the Chariot there. This is, the story behind this is really neat. It's like she was sort of abducted, but there's lots of different, not a lot of different, a few different Chariot images, but this one I felt was most interesting, and I did kind of touch up her face, and so I did a lot of touching up on these and making the images as smooth and pretty as possible, and strength. The Hermit, this is one of my favorite Waterhouse, and just had to use it. And another one of my favorites. And so I added, this is like an astrological wheel right here to represent the wheel. But the overall feeling kind of, to me, has sort of a wheel effect. And I just, I did a whole lot of work to it, and then I accidentally erased it. And okay, I'm just going to put back the wheel and not worry about the rest of the work that I did. It was hard to find a girl with scales, but I like this one. Or anybody with scales. And the Hanged Man, it was also hard to find anybody hanging upside down. But Hanged Man often to me is associated with Pisces, and the going up and the down, the flowing both ways. So then I thought I'll find a mermaid, swimming upside down, or going downwards. I was having trouble finding a mermaid swimming downwards, so I thought this one was kind of appropriate. And besides, I really wanted to focus on the romantic aspect of this all, because in more of a couple essence, most of the major arcana is individuals, but I definitely try to bring in the couples throughout the whole deck. This is one of my favorite images too. It's very dramatic, and I thought that's perfect for death. And Temperance. Maxfield Parrish has really beautiful artwork too. This one was already, somebody designed this, and so I added this image with this sort of devil character and added in the clouds and whatnot. I think it turned out really great, but this is going to be exclusively for me to use in a private situation and in this kind of situation, I don't think I'll be able to sell this one, but it's okay because I also have this devil, and he'll be the one that I use for you guys. And then there's the tower. So that the tower, I had to squeeze the picture close together. It's actually quite landscape-ish, and I had to move the female over a little bit to make it more of a vertical. With the star, I was really debating what I should use, which drawing I should use as the star, and so I combined two. I used one that had the crown and added it to this Waterhouse star, and I lightened her eyes and her skin color and worked hard on that one. The moon is so cool. I love that. The sun. It has a nice sheen. I don't know if I'll do, I mean, this one will be a little more expensive if I do the one with the sheen, so maybe I'll do a version without the sheen. That way it'll be a little bit more affordable. The world. The Enchantress. This is now somebody else's work, but I couldn't pass it up. I wanted to have my own Enchantress, and I'm like, okay, well, this is for myself. This is like, I just printed it out for myself. And the Guardian, this is also kind of like a really neat picture that I liked, and I just wanted to print it out for myself. So those won't be included in the one that I sell. Okay, next. So next we have the suit of the wands. So with the wands, I decided the main indicator that it's wands would be instruments. So we have the Ace of Wands. I have the Two of Wands with the harp. Three of Wands is, the person waiting for someone to come in. And she looks like she's just kind of sitting at the castle wall waiting for somebody, sewing something while she's waiting. Four of Wands. I had a whole different picture for the Four of Wands, and then I opted for this one. So this is the Celebration and the Twin Flame card. So I thought that this one is nice. The Five of Wands. The Struggle. I also had a whole different picture for this, but I like this one had more of a romantic essence with the one against the other fighting. Six of Wands. This is one of my favorites. Just love this. He's so majestic. It's the fame. It's the beloved. Seven of Wands is the person protecting the castle. They're protecting. Eight of Wands is the shooting the arrows or whatever. And I thought, okay, that's good enough. It's trying to get a message across. In the Rider-Waite, the Nine of Wands is the guy with the wounded leg, or has a bandage on his head, and I think a wounded leg too. 10 of Wands is, carrying that big heavy load, so he's carrying heavy female. She's not heavy though. And so pages, I made sure all the pages were just a nice, beautiful, romantic image. The Knight. Try to make sure that at least there was some wands or stabs involved, and definitely the swords got most of the swords. The Queen of Wands, and the kind of a warm colors for the wands since it's the fire suit. Okay, next. So next we have swords. So the Ace of Swords, in keeping with the female or whatever, and she's just holding on to a sword right there. And Two of Swords is usually the crossroads one. I feel like this is kind of an interesting imagery to decide what happened in this scenario. There's one laying down and one looked like he's stabbing, and the woman, damsel in distress, but what really happened here? This image I've always loved, and when I decided to make this deck, I was like, this is totally Three of Swords right here. The pain like in her side when, she feels betrayed or whatever. Okay, then Four of Swords, the sleeping meditative. Five of Swords. Six of Swords. The boat ride. This one's a little sadder, you know, but it still kind of connotates a journey. Seven of Swords. One's the stealer, one's the cheater. This one is the stealer. I guess the Five of Swords is the cheater. He's trying to prove that he's innocent, but the guy, maybe he's the one that's not so on the up and up. This is another interesting story that, you know, you could kind of look into and try to figure out what's going on here. I was going to actually use this one as the devil because she's, you know, looks like sort of a bondage kind of situation. She's tied, but I thought Eight of Swords, that would be good because it's kind of like if she moves, she might get hurt by like the thorns in this vine thingy. And then it's also a couple, you know, so in keeping with the couples. Nine of Swords. There's hope, you know, it's like there's hope. Somebody's coming in. Maybe they can get him to a doctor or something, but, you know, there's at least these friends hanging, you know, standing by his side until they can get help. This one is kind of like no hope left, you know, but they're together at least. They were in it together. And then the couple for Page of Swords, and that one's appropriate because it's like a knighting. I love this guy. I'm like, where did he come from? But he looked very tough. Like the Knight of Swords to me would be just kind of, you know, just edgy. And Queen of Swords too just looked superior and in her head, you know. King of Swords, you know, intelligent and sparkly. Okay, next. And next is the Ace of Cups. Now this image was very flat, and it looks great though in the foil style. It looks, you know, it gives it a little bit of fun shine to it. But I didn't like it that much, so I decided to make another one for myself. And this one was so beautiful, but I feel like this one is sort of protected or whatever. And so I probably won't sell it with this card. I'll sell it with this card and keep this for myself because this one's pretty nice. And she's got a cup. I think the cups are my favorite, you know, suit because it's love and water. So this one's very traditional. Two of Cups is just, you know, the union almost. It's just the togetherness. And the Three of Cups is the tryst, you know. So this is sort of almost forbidden, but it's still kind of happy in a way, you know. It's the getting to be together. Four of Cups is kind of like the bored girl, like the one that doesn't appreciate what she already has, you know, kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, she's getting attention, but she looks kind of like blasé about it. The Five of Cups. I thought that was an interesting image for the Five of Cups. Six of Cups, nostalgia, and they're just reminiscing together and sharing a cup. Seven of Cups, more cups. Eight of Cups is the woman walking away. And usually see the back. I didn't find any pictures of anybody walking away from the back, but I thought this is another favorite piece of art that I like so much anyway, so I thought that would be appropriate. And then the Nine of Cups, which is kind of like, you know, just feeling really good where you're at. You know, this is just a really beautiful, sweet feeling. The Ten of Cups is like having it all, the legacy kind of thing. So this is like Henry VIII with Anne Boleyn, I think, and in his land and hunting. It's kind of like a happy moment. It's like, you know, the pinnacle of how they were together before things got bad. But this is like the happy moment, like joyful, like having it all, because he had the land, the love, and beauty, and whatever. I just thought that was a sweet image of him kind of like moving the trees out of the way for her. And then so here we have the Page of Cups. And that has some water in it, so I figured that'd be a good cup card. The Knight of Cups is just very romantic, handsome. Queen of Cups. And I couldn't decide for the King of Cups. This was my original King of Cups, but he's kind of older, and I felt like to appeal to more people, maybe I should have a young King of Cups. And this one I thought was handsome too. So we could have 2 King of Cups. We'll see which one I end up using. I mean, we could definitely have a young King of Cups. We don't have to have old King. But I don't know who looks better in the lineup. Okay, so on to the last Pentacles. Okay, and then for the Pentacles, I decided with, a lot of natural things like fruit and flowers. So, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles. This is me and Melanie picking flowers. Or me and my sister. This is one of my favorite pictures, and I thought that was just so appropriate, like the stained glass window one, the artist one. That's kind of how it's like an artist and his love or his muse. The 4 of Pentacles is, like the hoarding stuff. But this is kind of interesting because it's, the Pandora's box. So it's not just hoarding, but it's hoarding something that could be dangerous. The 5 of Pentacles is like the people that were out in the cold, and they could find shelter or whatever, or they could make it doesn't have to be a bad situation. It could be pleasant, So she's choosing to be unhappy about the weather, but maybe you don't have to be unhappy about the weather. And this one is the 6 of Pentacles. I love this image too. It's so pretty. And yeah, it's the reciprocating, it's the giving. The 7 of Pentacles. I think this is the picking the right one, or looking back and seeing what you've done. The 8 of Pentacles is the crafty person working on their work. Yeah, she's got this loom. What was fun about this, I wish I could figure out a way to incorporate the whole picture, but back on this side of this drawing and this artwork, there's some guys like trying to get her attention and woo her while she's in the middle of working, which is funny. Here's the 9 of Pentacles, the lady sitting pretty, but dressed up all gorgeous to the nines. 10 of Pentacles is a lot like the 10 of Cups. It's just the happy scene, the happy family, the legacy, the having it all. Yeah, and just the togetherness. Both these characters, the man and the child, look a little sad, but I feel like she's singing such a beautiful song that it's touching, and it gives them sort of a sense of peace and love and connection. And then this is the cover, the Page of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. I was trying to find the most attractive one, characters I could find, but that's the hardest part of this, of pre-raphaelite. It's just, like the other images are so easy, but when it came to court cards, it was a little bit harder to find like really attractive kings and queens and stuff. But I think we did pretty good. I think it did pretty good. So yeah, and the King of Pentacles is supposed to be a little bit darker, swarthier, and so I was trying to be in keeping with the feeling of each. The wands like fiery, red. The swords more intelligent. Cups more romantic and dreamy, and the Pentacles more serious and dark. So there you go. That's my deck. I hope you liked it, guys, and I will definitely be using it because it feels really good. It feels like mine. I have all these extra cards too that I could just do stuff with. So that'll be kind of fun. I don't know. I'll surprise you. All right, you guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go off and eat some Mexican food. So faith, trust, and pixie dust.